Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining in. I'd like to introduce, Chris and I have known each other, I think almost 8 months, Chris, right?
I think so. It's been,
Yeah,
feels like a while.
yeah, since pandemic started, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, again, Chris, welcome to SDI. We actually arranged this session, actually wellness community. We have a wellness committee in our company, and we do, session like that. But this is a unique one you are providing. So welcome to our company. And I'd like to thank our wellness community for arranging this meeting. And Chris, take it over and you can start the session. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Shahed. Yeah, thanks for inviting me to do this. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, one thing. Can anybody record this session, please?
Yeah, Shahed, I'm recording.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's been recorded.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Thanks.
awesome.
Thank you, Chris. Go ahead.
Great. Can everyone see my screen as well? My presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Cool. So my name is Christian Hadjigeorgiou. I'm an NASM certified personal trainer. And you're all in my gym studio right now. So this is my little modest gym studio. I know it's not much, but yeah, this is where I train all my clients virtually now, of course. And you wouldn't think that virtual training would be like as successful as in-person training, but everyone is like loving it right now, and they're getting some real value from virtual training. So you guys are all my clients right now. We're having a little group session today in the studio. Yeah, and I'm hoping that you guys can get a lot from today. I'm gonna teach you a little bit about wellness, but also about mindset when it comes to achieving some of the goals that you've always wanted to. And so a little bit more about myself. I'm 25. Like I said, I'm a trainer. I have a bachelor's in psychology, and right now I'm in grad school for integrated digital media. At one point, I was also, when I was in college, I was taking my prerequisites. I did a lot of volunteer work towards physical therapy. I went to PT school for a solid semester, and then I was like, this isn't for me, but I still love training people and helping people. So obviously you can tell that I've jumped around quite a bit. So I'm coming to you today, not just as a personal trainer, but as someone who has like a combination of different unique experiences as much as I could at 25 years old, right? So I wanted to start with a question, and I wanted to ask you guys, what does wellness mean to you? All right, and feel free to answer this in the Zoom chat, or you can yell out some answers, whichever works for you. And there's no wrong answers, right? I just want to know from each of you, what does wellness mean?
Okay, so for me, like wellness is like for the body and mind in a state where I'm having no complication. I'm just doing fine without an issue. It's not that like I'll need so much muscle in my hand, just being fit without any disease. That is what I understand saying wellness.
That's a great answer. Yeah. And it could be, as broad or specific as you like, right? Some examples are having healthier relationships, right? Could be something really specific like drinking more water, practicing a de-stress routine, or learning to accept yourself. That's a little bit of like what you mentioned, right? No matter what, where you are in life, your health, your fitness, but learning to accept yourself could be a big wellness example, right? And I pose another question: How difficult do you think it is to achieve some of your wellness goals? For anyone.
For me, I think wellness mostly works better with our mental wellness. rather than physical. If you are mentally fit, then you can make yourself physically fit. So I think that's my goal, to be fit mentally as much
Right.
as I can.
Yeah, nice, great.
So to
Some could
answer,
argue. Mhm.
I'm sorry, Chris. So to
No,
answer your
you go ahead.
second question,
Mhm.
okay, so I think it's difficult because we need to do it on a regular basis. So that's the most difficult part, right? To be consistent. Most of the
Yeah,
time, we end up not doing it every day.
right, right. Yeah, that's huge. Consistency is definitely could be a big burden, right, towards your wellness goals.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
So, Chris,
mhm.
say for example, a lot of member in the entire United States, like gym member, but how many people go to gym like every day? We are not consistent, so it's very difficult to achieve those things, whatever you listed and mentions, right? We do have a lot of things in our head, but every day we are end up with nothing because we are not well organized. We are not consistent. So I feel that this is the barrier. You are not consistent to achieve those things. You have to be consistent to every small little things if you are like
Mhm.
targeting every day. So also part of wellness, or it could be gym, right?
Probably I
Yeah.
have some sorry, I'm Medyasan. Uh, Probably I have some different opinion on this. It's actually, it's up to how you love it, or how you realize the importance of being healthy or being well. That's the matter. Like someone is having too much junk food because they love it, but someone is aware of it and they eat more vegetables. Actually, they are not doing it, by forcefully. Actually, their state of mind says that I need to be healthy and I am having good food, good food. So for them, that is not difficult because they're doing, they're loving doing it. But whom actually not realizing the importance, don't have the love or passion for the wellness, that become difficult for them to become habitual with this kind of healthy, lifestyle.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And you guys touch on things that I'm gonna talk about too. So those are really really great answers. Um, yeah. Is there anyone else? I think we got a good bulk of answers here. Yeah. So again, like what some of you mentioned, right? To achieve these things, it requires building habits and creating lifestyle changes, right? Depending on your goal, right? Some are going to be short term, others are long term, but it's only possible, right, to achieve them if you make real sustainable changes through habits. Otherwise, they'll only be temporary. And I'm going to talk about sustainability um, throughout this whole presentation. And one thing I want to stress before we get into like goals and stuff is that achievement does not equal happiness, right? You can certainly be happy without having to achieve something you set out to. Don't think that happiness is something that you can only grasp, after you shed 10 pounds or you've gotten that promotion at work, right? That's not what goals should be about. And I'd argue that a lot of people are unhappy when trying to achieve their goals, right? There's a lot of stress involved, right? A lot of negative feelings. Um, so yeah, again, achievement does not equal happiness. And so everyone has something they want to work towards, right? Maybe you push it off to the future. Maybe it's always in the back of your mind. I have plenty of those too. But it could be exciting to start, right? You think about the end goal and all the benefits you gain from it. You have these ideals for yourself in your head, right, of who you want to be. And then maybe you're like, well, where do I start, right? And actually, the most difficult part isn't starting. Like many of you said, it's retention, right? It's consistency. But the easiest part to start, and probably one of the most important parts, is just writing down your goals, right? Getting them from your head to paper, and in a very specific way, in a way that your goals are achievable and the process is sustainable, right? And I mean, you guys have probably heard this I don't know, maybe in other presentations, or maybe you're like rolling your eyes. Well, yeah, I know what a SMART goal is, but I use these with a lot of my clients because they're very powerful tools, right? SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based, right? So in the example of wanting to have better sleep, right? Maybe you're not getting enough sleep. Maybe you're getting like 5 hours of sleep. A specific, so I think specific kind of gets all of the other words in there too. But yeah, anyway, let's go through it, right? The specific, the measurable part, you say at least 7 hours each night, achievable by getting off the phone at 10 p.m., relevant since I've struggled with sleep for years. And you know, that's going to be based on you, on your own specific goals, and time-based for the entirety of next month. So you know, this is how you can organize your goal into a clear perspective for yourself. And I think the measurable part is super important too, because in order to achieve progress, you have to see progress. And you know, you want to do that, you know, like say you walk 1.5 miles today, right? That's measurable. You drank 3 quarts of water, 2 liters of water in a day. That's measurable, you know. A lot of my clients use pictures of themselves because sometimes they can't use the scale to measure themselves because it's not accurate, but they could see changes in their body. So that's measurable, you know, itself as well. So you want to set a SMART goal for yourself. So if you have a goal in your head right now, maybe you can write this down, you know. And you also want to make short-term goals, right? So like every week, every 2 weeks, you can make a list for yourself and check things off, you know. You could say, I want to eliminate distractions from my bed, or this week I'm going to try for 2 nights to get 7 hours of sleep, or to get in bed by 10:15, you know, this week. And it's really like I use short-term goals myself. It's just a short achievable list that you can check off, and you know, making checklists is it's a stepping stone towards your final goal, right? And you'll get the excitement of like achieving something and like checking something off, and you'll be like, oh, I progressed, you know, I did this. And it can be super motivating for the rest of your process. So even though it may not seem like a lot to you, it's actually, you know, super important, because if you do this every week, right, in 3 months, maybe you'll get much closer to your goal. It can be very, very motivating. So the key, right, is to slowly incorporate your process into your daily life, right? You want to make it a part of you. For example, for people trying to lose weight, stricter diets are less successful, right? Because people end up quitting much sooner. But if they want to lose weight and they have less strict diets, yeah, it might take longer, but they're in a much better position to achieve their goals. You know, like for example, all my clients who are focused on weight loss, they eat whatever they like to, and they still progress towards their goals. You know, I don't want to limit any particular foods that they like, because then you're going to start associating negative feelings, right, towards your process. It's not going to be sustainable. It's not who they are, right? And you can't make a lifestyle change that way. But if like say you want to be fit, but you hate going to the gym, or you hate like a personal trainer like yelling at you, maybe you love swimming or karate or something, and that's what helps you get, fit. It's all about you and your preferences and what you want to incorporate into your life, right? I created a habit of drinking water like every 10 minutes, because I keep my water bottle right next to my computer when I'm working. So whenever my eyes are like off the screen, I see my bottle and I take a sip. And I've learned to make a positive I've learned to associate positive feelings with it, because like every time I take a sip, I'm like, oh, water is like healthy for me. It's something silly like that, but it motivates me and it helps me drink the amount of water that I'd like to drink. So yeah, making lifestyle changes, making your habits into lifestyle changes is very important. And it's going to look much like the second graph here, right? Very rarely will it look linear. You're going to have ups and downs, right, all the time. The second graph here is much more, is a much better representation of life, right? You guys have been through a lot, I'm sure, professionally, personally, and it looks a lot like that second graph, right? So, and that part is about mindset too, right? Because if you associate negative feelings with any time you're inconsistent or anytime you've missed a workout, right, you're gonna quit, right? Why would you want to live like that, right? But if you accept the shortcomings that that shortcomings happen, and if you embrace them, you're setting yourself up for success, right? And yeah, so I want to talk about one lifestyle change that I think everyone should try, and it is sleep, right? Obviously, I say you could try it, but like, I'm sure many of you have difficulty with this, especially if you have kids, right? Kids are selfish. They don't want you to sleep, right? But people who get adequate sleep have lower risk of depression, lower risk of heart disease, are less likely to get sick because they have better functioning immune systems, and are much better able to achieve their fitness goals, because sleep facilitates fat loss through changes in metabolism and appetites, and boosts muscle recovery. And that's super important for your fitness goals, of course. And maybe you're like, oh, you didn't get sleep last night. I could tell, and it's true. I could work on this too, and I would love to. Sleep is very, very important. And if I had one wellness tip to give you guys, this would be the one, 100%. All right, so now I want to go a little bit into poor posture, all right? Because we're all sitting like all the time. We might have some very, very bad, very poor sitting habits. Let me just see if I can get, I want to see myself. I can't right now. Just so I know you guys can see me. Sorry. Yeah, I can't really see myself, but that's okay.
I think you were lagging. You had some internet problem. Now it came back.
Oh.
Yeah. I think you had some internet problem. It's okay. Now you can continue.
How is it now? Is it okay?
No, it's
better.
good. It's good now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And we can see you.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to see myself so I can make sure you guys, I know where to go, but I think that's fine. All right. So what does poor posture look like? Can you guys give me examples?
Yeah, I can give you a real-time example. I was sitting in a posture. I don't want to say how it was. Just seeing your text, I just fixed myself.
Yeah.
So we actually know like what is the poor posture and why how it can hurt us, but I personally forget every time. And whenever I get a reminder, I do it for some time, and I don't know like when I stop it again without without my consciousness.
Right. Great. Yeah. I mean, so is there anything specific? Like what does poor posture look like? You know, is your head like this?
For us, like we do a full-time job, and most of the time we sit on our desk. So we stay on our chair and work on the computer all the time on the desk. So the posture we need to be careful, I believe. But the reminder, how we can remind us, that is where we actually struggle. We don't know, like,
Right.
yeah, how we can remind us. Maybe you can suggest ways.
Chris, I think one of the because of the smartphone, we are always looking down, right? Even when we are watching TV or anywhere, even if you go to doctor's office or even in the bus or going anywhere standing, you are just looking down. Your heads are down, like down all the time. That is for me the poor posture. I mean, sitting in the office is one problem, of course, but I feel like after work also we are having a bad posture day throughout the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big one. And I'm going to talk about like associations as well and how you can, make yourself set reminders for yourself for posture. But let's look at what it looks like, right? It kind of looks like this, right? Your head's forward, right? Shoulders are rounded. You're typing, if you're on your computer, you can be typing like this. Let me come back a little bit. So yeah, obviously not the best position, right? But actually any position that's held for a prolonged period of time or any movement that is repetitive can be damaging to the body, right? There's actually nothing inherently wrong with poor posture until it gives you pain or muscle imbalances, which is like most of the time, right? But someone can be walking around with poor posture and feel fine, right? They have no pain. It doesn't affect his activities of daily living. But any, like I said, and any position that's held for a prolonged period of time or any movement that's repetitive can be damaging to the body. And most people who have poor posture are going to have pain and they're going to have muscle imbalances. Okay. And I want to talk about like what are some of the muscles. This is very specific. You don't have to like know this, but it's going to be super important of when I show you guys some exercises and some stretches right after the slide. So when you have poor posture, say you're like this, you're going to have muscles that are weak and some muscles that are very overworked and very tight, right? So for example, if you're sitting at the desk, your arms are forward, right? You're over here typing. Your chest is going to be very overworked because your chest does this motion just naturally, right? It's going to work when you're doing this motion. So when you're up here, your chest is working like 24/7. So it's going to be super tight, super overworked, right? And at the same time, these muscles, so the muscles in your mid back are going to be very weak, right? Because your mid back wants to bring your shoulders back here, but they're not being worked at all, right? So they're weak. So the goal is to strengthen these muscles, the back muscles, right? And open up your chest. And same thing with your neck, right? So you're like this. The muscles in your neck that keep you like this, right, are weak. And the muscles that are keeping you like this are being very overworked and they're very tight. So the goal is to stretch the tight muscles and work on your weak muscles, right? And that's exactly what we're going to do. So you guys can do this on your own. You don't have to put on your video or anything. If you want to follow along, that would be great. But think of how poor posture looks like and then you want to do the opposite of that, and that's going to be your exercise. There's no like magic trick, right? There's no secret, and it's not overwhelming at all. And yes, I want to keep in mind that, you know, keep fixing your posture throughout the day is also really, really important, right? But these exercises are also going to fix, you know, your muscle imbalances over time. So they're going to make your weak muscles stronger, and you're going to stretch out those tight muscles. And hopefully, if you're having pain, this can get rid of them over time. So you want to think about how poor posture looks like and do the opposite. So, for example, your head is like this, right? This is poor posture. What is the opposite of this? Back here, right? It looks really weird. I'm making like a double chin, right? But this is exactly the first exercise. It's called a chin tuck. And we do this all the time in physical therapy for anyone having neck and back problems, right? All you're going to do, you can guide with 2 fingers on your chin, right? You're here, and you're pushing your chin into your head, still looking straight, right? You're going to hold for 5 seconds, and then you're going to relax back to neutral, right? And you can do it 5 times, right? For these exercises, we're going to go through like, we can go through like 1 set of each. And then, you know, the best practice is to do 3 sets of everything, right? So it's going to be a 5-second hold again, chin back, 5-second hold, and relax. Okay, that was the first exercise, the chin tuck. So now you can think of another symptom of poor posture, right? You get another how poor posture looks, right? Your arms are over here, right? They might be facing down, right? Because you're typing. Your shoulders are rounded, right? They're forward. Now, what's the opposite of that, right? Maybe hands are up, and instead of your shoulders rounded, your shoulders are back, right? And that's exactly this exercise, right? It's called a Scap Squeeze. All right, let me see if I can get it up. Can you guys see my head to my waist?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can see.
Should we
That's
move
what
down
I
a little bit?
wanted.
Yeah, okay. All right. So hands are going to be, instead of like this, right? They're like this, and shoulders are back, right? You're going to pretend that you have a pencil right in between your shoulder blades that you're trying to squeeze. Hold for 5 seconds, and you're going to relax. Okay. And for this exercise, you can do 8 of those, right? One thing you want to keep in mind is that you're not shrugging, you're not up here, right? Because our upper traps, these muscles, actually get really, really tight with poor posture. So if you're doing this, you're gonna stimulate them, you're gonna encourage that, and you don't want to. So you want to depress your shoulders, right? Squeeze, keep your elbows back, hold for 5 seconds, and relax. Okay. The next one, this one isn't as intuitive, right? Because usually our poor posture doesn't look like this. But like I said, your upper traps are going to be super tight. So upper trap stretch, this one's the easiest one. You're just going to keep your shoulders depressed, right down here. You don't want to be up here. And then bring your ear to your shoulder, right? If you want, you can bring a little extra stretch in there with your hand. And you're going to hold it for 30 seconds. All right, 30 seconds on each side. And it's going to relieve your upper trap. All right, just once on each side, and then 3 sets when we do all the exercises again. We're not going to, but on your own. All right, the next one is a lunge stretch. So I don't know, can you guys see that mat down there?
I think it needs to go a bit down. Yeah, now we can see.
How's that? Okay, cool. So then you can see me over here, right? All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're sitting all the time, right? Unless you have standing desks, but maybe most of you have sitting desks, and your hips are constantly flexed. They're like this. For 8, 10, 12 hours. Now, your hip flexors, all the muscles that are over here, are going to be very, very tight because you're like this 24/7, right? So what's the opposite of this, right? Coming back instead, right? We want to stretch this out, and that is our lunge stretch, right? What you want to do is bring 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, stay on your toes on that back leg, and you're just going to try to lean down, okay? You could touch the floor, you could kneel on your knee, but I think the easiest thing to do is to balance on the floor, all right, and try to keep your hips nice and low. All right, you're gonna feel that stretch in here. I use this one with all my clients because everyone tends to be super tight here. I am, very much so, right? And get as low as you can to the ground, all right? When you start, maybe you're like this, all right? Maybe you're going to need a chair to hold on to, and you're gonna do the exercise like this, right? So there's gonna be another 30-second hold. 1 time, 3 sets. Well, 1 time on each leg, and then when we come back to it, we're gonna do 3 sets, right? And we have one more. This one is Shahed's favorite, the pigeon pose. All right, this one's really good for your back and your hips. Definitely recommend this to everyone. So what you're going to do for this one, you're going to come down to the mat. You can get on all fours, on your knees and your hands. You're going to bring 1 leg on the opposite side, right? So your foot is down here, nice sharp angle. Stay on your knee with the other leg, and you're just going to lower yourself a little bit. You can lower yourself, you can stay up here, but you're going to feel a really good stretch in that hip muscle. You're going to feel a stretch in your back as well. And again, you can hold it for 30 seconds. And we're going to do 30 seconds on each side, 3 sets total. All right. I want to go through them just again, real quick. All right, we got the chin tuck back here. Make sure you keep looking straight. Hold for 5 seconds. And you want to do it 5 times. Right. Next one, we got the Scap Squeeze. Shoulders down and back. Bring your elbows back, trying to squeeze an imaginary pencil in between your shoulder blades. 5 seconds. Relax. Then we got upper trap stretch. 30-second hold on each side. We got the lunge stretch. You're down here, actively trying to push this hip down, right? 30-second hold on each side. And finally, the pigeon pose. 30 seconds for this guy. Tuck that leg in and put some weight on that hip. Okay, there's a little routine, but if you do this every day, right? If you're having back pain, hip pain, this could make a huge change to that. This could relieve your symptoms. Let's see what we got next. Okay, I'm
The last
back
one,
here.
Chris, is amazing. I know you.
Yeah, pigeon pose. It's
Yeah, pigeon pose is
magical
definitely helpful. Yeah, it's magical.
Yeah, and when you guys do this too, think about how far you get the first day, and then if you do this every day, I guarantee you by day 20 or day 30, you're going to get much lower than you were when you started, right? And obviously, there's no requirement for doing this every day. Even if you do this once a week, you're going to gain something from it. All right, so I highly recommend each of them. And some of the exercises like chin tucks, right, upper trap stretch, maybe scap squeeze, you can do when you're on your desk, right, when you're sitting at the desk. You don't even need to get up for them. I tend to do chin tucks when I'm driving in the car. I might, people might give me weird looks, but it works. And so now I want to go to a little bit about associations, right? You want to create associations between a specific cue and fixing your posture, for example. For example, every time my watch beeps for the hour, I sit upright. I told you guys my method for drinking water, right? Every time I look away from the screen, I see my water bottle and I take a sip, right? So every 5-10 minutes, I'm taking a sip of water. If you guys use the Pomodoro method for working, right? That's the method where you set a timer for 25 or 30 minutes, right? Once it beeps,
Yeah,
you
a lot
take
of
a 5-minute break.
pauses.
Yeah, that's the perfect time for a chin tuck, So it's little things like that throughout the day that you can spread your wellness routine into, right? The important thing is making that association, right? Like say every time you get up to go to the bathroom, you walk up and down your stairs for a minute, right? It could be something like that. So it's gonna be specific to each one of you, but I highly recommend seeing what works for you, so you can get that wellness routine into your day, right? And it's a process, right? It's fine if you can't do these every day. 2 sets is great, 1 set is great, taking a day off is great. I took a lot of day off this year. Building habits takes time, right? And if you can't make the habit yet, that's okay. Just do what you can. But the important thing is avoiding putting negative feelings towards your process. And this goes for any goal you have, right? You should be happy that you're taking the initiative and you have the ability to change yourself and your body, right? And you want to think about the positives that you're doing for yourself, right? Like that graph I showed you earlier showed, there's going to be ups and downs. It's inevitable, right? But again, it's a process, and you want to attribute positive feelings towards this process to keep yourself happy, right? And that's it. Thank you, everybody. There's a little bit about myself. I run an Instagram for myself called PowerLean. All right, Instagram.com/power_lean. You can email me at training@nypowerlean.com if you guys, ever need tips or have questions on something. Yeah, but if you guys have any questions right now, I'd love to try to answer them, or at least point you in the right direction.
Let's hear some feedback also. If anybody wants to provide some feedback,
Yep.
if you learned something from it, and any other question.
Actually, I wanted to add feedback and one question. The feedback is like, thanks for before starting this, I had so many questions on my mind. Like, I will ask those things because as an IT person, like tech person, I do a job for 10 hours. I sit in front of a system. So sometimes for the bad posture, after 3 hours or 2 hours pass, then I face, my neck is pain and terribly, like, what should I do? And that thing, that the chin posture, it's really it's like it was my answer. It's already come, and I will try this. But the question is in subconscious mind we go in that posture, the bad posture, like how to remind myself, like after getting this terrible pain, then it hit my mind, okay, I was in the bad posture. But before that, how can I remind myself?
Right. Yeah, you don't realize it when you're not in pain, right?
Yeah, until I got into the pain. Yeah.
Until you're in pain. Exactly. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with, setting reminders and creating associations for yourself. Like if you really wanted to, you could put a timer on your phone every 5 minutes, fix your posture. I found what works for me best is associations though. So if you find yourself that and mine is just looking away from my screen to fix my to take a sip of water, right? So it could be anything like that. Think of anything in your life, specific to you, in your work that you can associate with fixing your posture, yeah, I'm sorry, that's like the best advice I can give you.
I get your point. It's like actually drinking water. I set a reminder on my phone, so it actually remind me to drink water. Sometimes I also forget. So I think I can add the reminder for this posture too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like sometimes phone reminders we still ignore. We're like, oh, I know that. I do that every day. And we ignore them. So you might need to find a little bit of a more clever technique for yourself, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Christian.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Anyone else wants to add anything? Chandra, anything you want to add?
Anybody from Goa? Akshat, are you there?
Yeah, Shahid. 1 minute.
Do you have any question or comment?
Yeah, so
good to see you guys.
Yeah, when Chris was explaining, I saw members sitting in a wrong posture, and then the minute he told, everybody realized that they need to improve on the posture. So yeah, it's a good reminder for us. And also, what about Tasmia mentioned about water? Also, we all need to have a good reminder for the water, because a lot of times we forget during the meetings and all that we need to drink water. So overall, it's a good reminder for us that these are the exercises which will help us, and wrong posture is going to harm us in the long term.
Thank you.
Thank you. I like to ask Mahmudul from Wellness Community, like if anything else you want to mention, that you guys have that session every day or every week, right? A lot of people don't join, of course. Do you want to say anything to them? Like in all offices, are we starting something?
Yes, Ashad. Actually, we are practicing like a very small exercise just before the scrum in the morning, and I'm happy to see the posture things and all. 2 to 3 of those steps we are already doing and practicing, and the person sitting beside me is also asking the same. Hey, we are doing that, right? And I said yes, we are. Now, this is really helpful actually, and. To just add a question to it, because we already have like so many resources in the internet, and they're different, and definitely everybody cannot follow the same. I do have a question which is like a myth to many of us, right? It's like since we are, yes, definitely we are working in the IT industry, like morning till like evening time. Now when balancing the sleeping hours, it's a question to you, Chris. Like 7 hours is like a balanced, we can say, for an adult, right? Now it mostly happens that we don't get sufficient time to sleep because we also need to wake up early in the morning, and it becomes difficult for us to go to bed early as well. So what do you suggest, and what do you feel? Is it good to have a small exercise session just before going to bed, or maybe a couple of hours before the bed, or like something is good? What do you suggest?
I would say that would be great, actually. Not only are you getting a workout in, right? Even however small it may be, right? But you're also doing your body the favor of getting yourself tired enough to have that sleep. And maybe that sleep is even more important than whatever it is you're trying to work for. I would say that would be great. I know everyone has their own time throughout the day where they would prefer to do exercise, right? But if it works with your schedule and it doesn't disrupt your sleep, I would say that's perfectly healthy and a great idea as well.
All right, great.
Thank you, Chris. I have another person I want to bring in, and I want to admit in front of everyone that I've been struggling with health last 4 years. And just like some of you mentioned, that you actually don't learn it unless you are hurt or you are suffering. But the reason we have this wellness committee and this session, so I want to remind all of you that you are in this industry and you are going to go through this pain. So we want to protect you guys. Some of us, have struggled a lot, and we learned in late that, exercise is very important and this small habit. But I want to also ask Madhav here. Madhav and I are talking about health for a while. Madhav, I have seen a lot of changes on you in last 3 months. Maybe you want to share what you learned from this Chris and your experience here.
Hello, you can hear?
Yep,
Hello.
we can hear.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to speak like for so long, but some reason it was not going through. Anyways, yeah, Chris, thank you very much for the session. It was fantastic. As Shahid mentioned, I think I have learned my lesson the hard way. And past 2-3 months are quite dramatic for me. A lot of things what you mentioned, lifestyle changes or consistency, bringing in those small targets into picture like as goals. All those are so important things, and without which you cannot actually. I was trying so hard since the lockdown time. I was just walking every day, changing my targets every day, but things were not working out. But then last 2-3 months I did things little differently, brought in some lifestyle changes what you mentioned, maybe sleeping time, then even food related stuff, how maybe you need to control and stuff, lot of simple things which actually we usually don't follow, drinking that sufficient amount of water or protein related stuff into your food, a lot of these things which I learned, one thing which you can share more tips. Some of the things which I'll share, every person has a need of certain amount of protein per day for their body. It depends on your weight and stuff. So how you can, what type of food you can eat, or this thing which will help you to give that protein. So these things actually help me to bring in some effect. And when I started from the first week of November, when I started applying these things, in next 50 days I was able to reduce 8 kilograms of my weight. I was weighing 92 at that time, and I came down to 84 in next 50 to 60 days. So lifestyle changes and food habits is one very important aspect I feel when it comes to wellness. And it is not just to reduce the weight, but also to gain the weight. If you are feeling you're underweight, then I feel those food habits and lifestyle changes are so critical and important for you. I would love to hear something from you about these 2 points, if you can share some more tips for everyone.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great story. Congrats on getting healthier. That's awesome. And I'm glad you were able to mention the lifestyle changes and the habits that you've made, right? Because that's what got you to where you are now, right?
Yeah. True.
And yeah, in terms of food, that's a big one, obviously, because people are trying to lose weight, and then food is stopping them. but it's important to one, keep a healthy relationship with food, right? Again, you don't want to have negative feelings towards food. You don't want them to prevent you in in any way. But what I found is that depending on the type of food, people are going to feel like more or less satisfied. Sorry. So, for example, if you have more fiber in your diet, that's going to fill you up more. It's going to satisfy you more, and you end up eating less calories. So that's one tip if you're trying to lose weight, right? Have fiber. Same thing with lean protein, right? Like chicken is going to be great for weight loss because it's healthy, and you get to eat more of it and still retain and have less calories from that, right? Versus rice that it has a lot of calories in a little bit of portion, right? So allow yourself to eat a little bit more, just eat a little more fiber instead. You can eat a little more lean protein instead. But again, like what I said for my clients is that I don't limit any particular food, right? I want you guys to eat whatever it is you want to eat. Maybe we're going to portion it a little better. We're going to extend how long we're going to do it for, because we're only limiting very little amounts, right? I don't want to limit this much. I want to limit this much so that you guys can live your life how you want it to and eat what you want to. So there's ways to do it that way too. There's different diets, right? You hear about keto diet, you hear about intermittent fasting, maybe a high carb diet, I don't know. And yeah, they all work, but it's going to work differently for different people. If you want to go on a keto diet, which is high fat, like high fatty foods, and low carbs, it might not work for you because you love pasta, right? So of course a keto diet is going to be low on your list, is going to be less effective for you, but maybe something else that's high carb and low fat is going to work for you, right? You want something that is going to work for you, right? That'll keep you happy for the future.
I think we lost Chris.
Oh. No.
Shad, I think
We can hear
he was
him.
okay. We could hear him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my internet. Chris, looks like from this question alone, looks like a follow-up session is needed. If you are interested, maybe I'll talk to you. But we are running out of time. We want to keep it within 40 minutes, but it extended to almost an hour. But I like to thank you again on behalf of the team and the company. And it was a wonderful session, and we'd like you to come back with more sessions throughout the whole year if you're interested. I'll definitely talk to you about it. But anything else? Anyone? Last few minutes.
So lots of things I learned today from you. A few of them I was doing, but I didn't know why I was doing that. So I got the answer. Now it will help me to do it in a proper way. And one question I have, maybe in the follow-up session, we could discuss on that part, which is, this question is not just for me, on behalf of the entire team or everyone whoever has joined. Which one is more important? Is it physical exercise or having a healthy, balanced diet, right? Which one has better impact, right? And what should be the ratio and why is so? So that's the question.
That's a very deep question, and it's going to depend on the person, right? Someone might benefit much more from having a healthier diet. Someone else could have a relatively healthy diet, but doesn't get off the couch the whole day, So that's definitely going to depend on you and what your health is and what you wanna work towards, But I will say that for the goal of losing weight, it's 70% diet, 30% training.
And if I want to keep myself fit and healthy, then is it the exercise should be 70 and then the diet 30?
If you want to be balanced, then be balanced, right? You could do 50-50, right? I would say, yeah. If you want, I would say 50-50 would be the goal for generally everybody, but of course it's going to depend on the person and what your goals are.
Nice, thank you. That's a great suggestion.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to conclude the meeting here right now. And please, everyone, follow Chris on Instagram. He posts amazing videos there with exercises, and you can relate to him. And you can also ask questions there, but make it public so he'll get some more followers. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chris, again, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for doing this, and thank you guys for your amazing feedback and questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Chris.
Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.